Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
Load, aim, shoot. Yes, people. Here's Rocka. This is Izzy. This is Deader Dudes. And we are reviewing the movie on Netflix right now that we both got window. We were recommended on one of our feedbacks. RRR.
Rise, Roar, Revolt. It's from 2022 and it comes in at a whopping, and I do mean a whopping 3 hours and 7 minutes. Now, when you see a regular, I guess, mainstream Hollywood movie, and you say, you know what, oh, we had to edit it down we left things on the cutting floor. Well, this movie left nothing on the cutting room floor. You get flashbacks, you get origin stories, you get the beginning, the middle, the end, and a bag of chips. Directed by S.S. Rajamouli. I know I mangled that, so I apologize in advance. It's basically, well, let me read you the tagline from it's a fictitious story about two legendary revolutionaries and their journey away from home before they started fighting for their country in the 1920s. Okay. Now, Raju and Beam, who are the two lead characters, they were actual people, freedom fighters in India, and they didn't really meet in real life, So this is basically a what if they two met and what would happen, Now, this movie's working title was RRR, and they just kept it as, So, I mean, Rise, Roar, Revolt.
I mean, it's brilliant because it's unique.
It's the first Indian film to gross over 100 million worldwide since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. That being said, let's get into it. We're gonna spoilers. I mean, regardless of the fact, you should watch the movie. But all right, take it away, Rocco.
All right, so there's rarely a movie that has two leads. I mean, you could think of a couple movies as duos of Bonnie and Clyde and whatnot, but it is and it isn't that, which is a great undertaking. And again, it adds to the length of the movie. But first off, this is a movie that we're not used to, and it was so refreshing because my first impression is just from the different camera angles, a few background stories, and it was very artistic. I credit the director and the editing so much because they had to coordinate backgrounds, present day, political strife at the moment, because it's a period piece, but it's not a dated period piece. The human aspect is all over the place. There's music, there's dancing, there's a love story, there's comedy, there's lightheartedness. There are moments it's like Crouchy Tiger, Hidden Dragon type of spectacularism, and there's moments that it's real life drama of abuse of colonial British to a subjugated territory.
Right.
And it's so seamless. And they're doing this with subtitles for me.
Yes. So first and foremost, if you're watching the movie or when you watch the film, I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna watch it. It's entirely in subtitles. I don't even think they have a dubbed version. Now, Rocca, how do you feel about subtitles?
I've watched a ton of movies in subtitles, and yes, it robs away from the viewing pleasure because you're reading more than you're watching. And there are moments that I try to speed read the caption so that I can look at the action happening and the expression on people's voices. Right. I was able to do it. it's a movie that, God, I don't know if I could do it again for 3 hours, but I'd like to watch it again in the sense that I know what the dialogue is now. I know the game plan. I know the action, but I can't stress this enough. As a viewing pleasure, this blows your mind. I think of it this way, and I do this with all really high level cinema. I want to get punched in the face. I want to get punched in the gut. I want it not to, I want to not know it's coming. But sometimes a director is so masterful, he's going to tell you it's coming and you still get hit with it. And why? Now it changes the game and you're so captivated. You want to see what happens next. The action moves so fairly well paced throughout, and you're just drawn in. I was drawn in from the beginning, not knowing, not familiar with this movie genre.
Rocka loved when I think it's Raju punched the tiger in the mouth.
The tiger in the mouth. Okay. When he storms the Bastille with the truck and then he jumps off the truck with unleashing all the tiger's animals. I mean, deer, whatever, a host of it. And it's in slow-mo. You could call it either cheesy or this is spectacular. And
that's the beauty of the film. The film, throughout the whole thing, it borders that line. It straddles that line of cheesy, cringe, but it takes itself so seriously at times that you just accept it.
Because you're so vested in the characters, you're rooting for them.
I mean, all right, you start the beginning scene, or the introduction to Raju, where he's a police officer in I guess the police officers, but they're under British control, I guess.
Yeah.
Also,
pretty abusive control.
So, first of all, this is a complete I mean, yeah, anti a British film, at least from back then. So, whew, and so he's a police officer and I guess they're trying to either, like, the people are protesting, right? The public, and one guy throws a rock, right? I think a rock.
A rock, and it hits the picture frame of, I guess, a high rank. Oh, the king or whoever.
Yeah,
and then the protectorate at the time, or the governor at the time, says, Governor Scott or someone says,
arrest that man.
And Officer Raju,
he
doesn't hesitate. He leaps over the barbed wire of, I don't know, 60-foot fence with a stick. And he takes on, I don't know, what do you think? A horde of about 100,000?
He fights probably 200-300 guys.
It by and large, any normal mortal man would get his ass kicked or die. He gets hit in the head. He gets taken out on every lib. Yet he still forges on, and he kicks so much major ass.
And he gets the guy.
Brings him in. And the rub is this, again, spoilers abound. You find out later his backstory is so tragic that he's so pent up with anger and vengeance.
All right, hold on. Should we spoil this, or should we?
All right, this part. All right, we want to say. I'll say this.
He's a movie, or should we let everyone?
The twist is very intriguing, and it twists into the other main actor's storyline in a heartfelt way, because the other guy he's a very basic, good, I don't want to use the word simple to degrade him, but he's a very earthy guy. They're
part of I'm not gonna see. I'm what the correct word. I'm not gonna accept people, but I mean,
how about this? Very back to nature, respect nature, tribe that doesn't want to cause waves. Yet, a daughter of their tribe was kidnapped by the rich English folk, Governor Scott, the main antagonist, and his wife, and how they brutally beat
on the wife, and
you
she
know,
seems very pretty. And then, as because you have a lot of colonialism and you have a lot of anti, you know,
you have two faces of the byproduct of colonialism,
yes,
where you have a group of people who want to advance themselves, so they acquiesce to the governing power. And then you have another group of people that want revolt because they're being held down, disrespected, spit on, controlled by foreigners on their own land. And they want nothing more than for freedom and liberate their country. And if a few British die, hey, icing on the cake. So that's the backdrop here. And that's what you're dealing with throughout the film, which is part of the film. But if you get to the bare bones of it all, it's the journey of two guys that meet via fate against a common enemy without knowing they have a common enemy. But they have a calling greater than themselves.
right. Beam has to go. He goes and to get back the daughter, and he will do anything to bring her back to the tribe. While Raju will do anything to advance in his career, and they strike up a friendship. I can we can spoil that part and have one of the great romances in movie history. And I'm not talking about nothing. It is a macho brotherhood that
It's love. I mean, they respect each other, and it turns out to be deep admiration and love for what the other one's trying to do, and the British get in the way. So, with that said, without spoiling too much about the plot line, what do you find very striking? Because Izzy had already done a 1-minute quickie review on this, but of course, since it left such an impression in both of us, we can't leave it at a quickie. It does no justice to the movie.
No.
There's so much here, and I myself, just speaking for myself, not going too much into politics, the Academy Awards and whatnot. There's too many things wrong with it. But as lifelong film critics, aspiring filmmakers, and writers, we can't escape when you see something that just is brilliant. And so we're doing this show dedicated to this RRR because it leaves such an impression on me. We have to tell the rest of Dead Dude Nation and Podcast Nation, you gotta watch this flick. It is wildly entertaining.
It's crazy. I mean, I almost want to freaking say, you know what? Let's just talk about it, and let's just spoilers abound.
We don't necessarily have to do that because it is a lot to deflate if you are wanting to watch this movie. But let's really hit home the best and highlight the best parts of the movie so that you go out there, turn on Netflix, and you watch it, because I'd be hard pressed, and again, open to all critics and all points of view, hard pressed to find somebody out there that says this is a shit movie.
No,
it's probably the best movie I've seen this year.
Yes, by far, it was the best movie. It has everything you want. Like I said in my quickie review, the one thing I do regret is that I did not see it on the big screen, and I'm not sure I could sit there for 3 hours in a movie theater, but anymore. Without actually, you know what, they do have an intermission, and they had an intermission, and they so there was
I think the Eternals gave me a kidney stone.
Well, you like that movie, so but that's
amongst other things, but
and yeah, you have all good things about the best part of the movie. You have a love story. you have an action film, you have an adventure piece, you have a period piece, you have dancing, you have musical numbers, you have
You have drama.
you
You
have
have
drama. It works on so many levels. It works as a dramatic film. It works as an action film. It works as a love story. It works as because hey, there is actual love story with Raju and his fiance as well. Not to mention you also have Bean, who also had his own love story as well. Not to mention you also have the bromance between themselves, the love of brotherhood, you know.
and
And
then
yeah,
you have the greater scope of the historical time setting, the
have it
historical
all
piece.
against the backdrop of the historical time which did happen, and you have a revolutionary story. And some might say, oh, it has that I guess you want to call it the Bollywood influence, where everything is over the top, and to a degree it has that, but it's done so well.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I really want to hammer home. If something is over the top and is campy and cheesy and corny, it either is the entire movie like that, and then you take it for what it is, or there's a reason why it's like that. And I can appreciate a film if it's artistic in the sense that it expands the horizon of not just what is happening in front of you, but how it unfolds that just captivates your mind. I'll take this case in point as an example, not completely related, but did you see Birdman?
You know what? I saw some of it. I have not seen
Okay, so if you have watched it out there and critically acclaimed, great movie, I thought it was a very good movie. Not better than this, but good. The whole point is there are scenes in the movie where it's trippy, right? So you don't know whether he's tripping out, it's actually playing out very tripped out, but there's a reason behind it. And then if it's artistically done, which is very clever, you go along with it, you buy into it because by and large, you want everything a movie to do to you. The main thing you want it to do to you is entertain you.
dude. And this is and 1,000%, and this is what it does. It all works. And if you want, if every movie was like this, man, I'd be there,
Yeah.
man.
If you have never listened to one Indian Bollywood or any soundtrack or music, I mean, if you don't have any rhythm, I feel bad for you. The music captivates you.
No,
It's the right song at the right time, at the right beat, at the right pace to make you feel exactly what's happening on screen. If it's a love moment, if it's a tender moment, if it's an action scene, if it's a dance-off battle, if it's attack on the Bastille, if it's saving somebody from prison, I can go on and on and on. That's just another dimension that's just done so well. I sit back really entertained minute by minute, like just being led. And this is the masterpiece of a director and a good editor, where, okay, after you buy in, you basically sit back and you're along for the ride. A lot of movies, you have to do a lot of thinking, or you're fighting the whole premise the whole way, or you're saying, what if, or this doesn't make any sense, or like, oh, come on, this is a jump scare, I could telegraph it. None of that. This is just boom, 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 boom. There's action, there's everything, like you just mentioned, everything you want is in there. And it's a really master to make it all meld and work seamlessly, which is, I can't say enough. I think we've said all that we can.
I think, yeah. I mean, and just I'll just say a couple more things as far as you would see and acknowledge the 3 hour time limit or running time, and you'd be like, how could I sit there for 3 hours? But I'm not gonna say it didn't feel like 3 hours, which it really didn't. But it this movie leaves no stone, left unturned in the sense that it gives you all the information that you want and then some. You want to know why the motivations of Raju, why he does what he does. You understand because you have a flashback scene of his past and what happens to him.
And they give you just enough.
Exactly. You see Bean and the way he treats and the way he's treated in the tribe. You see everything, and every character has a important arc, and it all works. I mean, I can't laud this movie enough. It was wonderful.
And the just last icing on the cake and sprinkle on top is that I left the end credit scene and the end of the movie with such an uplifted, positive feeling, like a smile on my face, and not a cheesy smile or happy ever after ending, whatever. But it was just a win-win on every level.
Yeah. I mean, it's rare for both of us to forget to just love a movie so much. And I mean,
Yeah, because we usually have a very critical eye for one reason, because you to get something to this top level, you give somebody a gold star, a gold trophy, a number one place. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be damn good and better than everybody else. That's reserved for a very select few people.
agreed.
And so when it's something like this, where you sit back, you go, I don't really have a major, even a minor criticism. This was a goddamn entertaining flick, because God knows we sat through and wasted so many hours of our lives watching some quality garbage.
I saw maybe three of those of three movies like that over the weekend, including The Gray Man, which is a perfect example of. I saw RRR before The Gray Man, and it completely.
Oh, that made it worse for you.
Yes, it completely, and it probably indirectly had an effect on my review of The Gray Man, because for all the craziness and the action that happened in The Gray Man, where I think I forgot what the budget was, and they wreck half of what I forgot where they're at in that movie, but they're somewhere in Europe. It just wasn't. It was cool, but it didn't have the heart that this movie had. I'm sorry. I mean,
oh, perfectly worded. And shameless plug, wait till our end of the year dumpster fire awards, where we'll hand out the worst movies of the year. But I think we've said it all.
yeah, pretty much.
And again, a shout out to the individual that's recommended this for us to watch on one of our comments on one of our YouTube quickies. Honestly, without that recommendation and without Izzy watching it and telling me, "Oh, you gotta watch it," I don't know if I would. Honestly, I think I would just glaze over it. But we're trying to propagate what was done to us to do to you. Go tune in and watch it.
Watch it. If we go with the star system, 5 stars or whatever, it's 5 stars. If we go to the 10, I gave it 9 out of 10, and I'll stake 9 out of 10 because I don't want to give a 10 yet. But it's
9.9 out of 10. And again, any other movies on this ilk, on this level that you know of and you agree, please send it our way. We'll gladly and happily do a review and give you back our feedback.
Definitely. And as usual, please comment, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course the podcast. Podcast available everywhere. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Stitcher, and everything
Google
else.
Podcasts.
Google Podcasts, and soon to be on Pandora and worldwide. So yeah, check it out. Let us know. And yeah, great movie. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka. Thanks for everyone. And remember to always save the whales.
Take care, guys.